So, you know, I think this is pretty. You know, it comes apart. You know, think of it as like a toy, right? I've been working with like kids in elementary schools for a while now, and I'm trying to bring that into sort of like my object making. So I've been like really critically looking at what does it mean. You know, what is the criteria for like a play object? You know, I've been like examining and re-examining it. Really, what I'm here for today is like I need you guys' help. And I'm passing around this this piece of paper with like my current criteria for the play object that's definitely not well formed. And if you guys have like pens or pencils, you know, take some time to read those top 6 that I've got. Actually, I can read it with you guys. Like I think my number 1 criteria is that it demonstrates respect for the user, for the customer. Right? I'm tired of these toys that are just like blatantly disrespecting kids, you know, like throwing this garbage in their face. Yeah.
Do you go into like what the disrespect would be? Like the manner of the toy is played with, or is the activity that it promotes?
I mean, among those things, it's also just really limiting. Like you're not giving these kids like a Lego would be like the mecca of toys.
Yeah.
So like the Lego is like, you know, the kid makes their own toy. Whereas with like a G.I. Joe, like there's no decision-making process there that we're giving. We're just, you know, we're telling the kid like you can't make these decisions yourself. We're gonna do a lot of reading and writing behind this whole thing. Respect is at the top. Next is, you know, this tactile education. Like I think play is inherently educational, and you know when you're working with objects, like the kind of education you're talking about is one they don't teach in school. It's like the education with your hands. I'm sure you guys can understand that. Simplicity and form and function as a given. It has to be manipulable, you know. We went over that. And then number 5 is a big one. Engages family and friends simultaneously and seamlessly. So like this object needs to be versatile. You know, a kid should be able to play with it by themselves, but you know, if another friend is there, I want it to encourage that sort of playing together. You know, not this like this is mine, give me that kind of interaction. I want it to be somehow I want this object to facilitate sort of friendly environment. And the specific thing that I'm working on right now is if you can see these sketches, sort of like these egg-shaped doohickeys with these holes in them, and I'm working on these pegs. And basically, it's like this construction set with like these, you know, concrete for the egg and wood for the connecting pieces. And you know, these kids are going to be building these concrete and wood assemblies, and it's just like, you know, the concrete's heavy, and the wood is like, you know, this is a natural material.
So is it like universal pieces?
I mean,
like the concrete, are they like the same kind of angle
as the pegs here, yeah.
So I mean, so are they random pieces? Like, see this?
Yeah.
If they're not specific geometry, I mean, I'll have a different thing.
Right.
If you can't build specific geometry, not specific. Otherwise, it'll be like a sculpture thing, or else it'll be like Legos or Tinker Toys, where it has.
It's much less structured than Legos, and like, you know, what you're gonna end up with is like these much more wonky, big forms.
But there's different ways to put it together, and different things. You can build your own things.
Definitely. Like each egg is what I'm calling them. You know, it might have like 2 or 3 holes in it. And like, you know, they'll fit any of these things. And I've been talking with Heather a lot about making these guys, and like, you know, I tried to make a silicone mold to pour the concrete into. That's all setting right now. And like, this is very much so in process. Like, idea came to me last week. Started making it.
Like, so this has different options, right? Like, you put it together different ways, you build your own. This is like, I don't know, is this supposed to have different options?
That's sort of like a sharper image, like put it on your corporate desk, beautiful thing.
Because it looks like it's like the same, like a branch that's cut up in a bunch of.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to try to put it together like that, but I can't because these things are like stuck on there.
Yeah. I mean, it's, you know, that's I brought that to show you guys like this sort of place where I'm coming from. You know, this came before this. Sort of like this progression.
I wish there was like more options. Is what I'm trying to say. Like this, you can put this together different ways.
Right. Right.
I'm interested in just like obviously work with kids a lot more than me, but like just curious. You use the term frustrated energies. Is the frustration caused by something, or is that the kind of just natural energy of children that you're referring to?
I mean, that's sort of like the role of society these days is to put kids in their place, like quiet them down. It's but we feed them tons of milk and sugar, and they got a ton of energy. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
We can make good use of their energy instead of like sticking them in a corner when they express themselves.
I've got a question.
Yep.
Okay. Have you taken any toys that you consider like the best toys, like Lego, and say picked out 5 or 10 toys, and say Legos, you can't choose Tinker Toys or Lincoln Logs because they're construction stuff also.
Right.
Okay, so they're going to have a lot of the same characteristics. So, but if you could find another one that would be totally separate that you think is a good toy, and maybe get 5 of those, and then what are the qualities? What does that toy promote that makes it a good toy? And see what those qualities are, and ask yourself, how can I put that quality into what it is I'm making? You have to ask the question, what do they want out there? Who's your target market, and what do they want? What qualities do you want them to have that's going to satisfy them, and can you get it in there? I think it's perfectly legitimate.
Did you have a specific age range that you're looking at for this?
2+, but even into adults. Like I can imagine adults playing with these.
Because that's a really big range of what people look for in entertainment.
Right. Well, what I
And
imagine
also,
is like.
I was just going to say that if you're looking at younger kids, you really need to take safety into consideration.
Right. Right. But yeah, I know what you mean. But again, like these are literally sticks and rocks. And I think if you're not going to let your kid near sticks and rocks, then like.
Right.
But
I mean,
both
well, that is literally
This is
like
all-
sticks and
this-
rocks.
this
But that
right
is not
here.
something.
Right.
Right. I would not like
This-
let my roommate's
yeah.
2-year-old play around that.
I-
That stuff makes
But
Those are pretty
those
fun.
could potentially become weapons.
Yeah, the
Sticks
same way
and
that a
stones.
So yeah, I mean,
It could learn a moral lesson with sticks and
Well,
stones, like you said.
Well, I mean, if that's another way to look at it. Okay,
But games
sticks
will
and
never-
stones, those things that break your bones. Okay, how can you make them creative? If you're being bullied, words will never.
Right. Like my initial concept here is this drawing in the top right, and it's just a single stick going into a single rock, and it's like making a mallet. Like you're making your own tools. As a kid, I think there's something valuable.
Okay,
there.
so it's imagination. Okay. So,
Even yes, a mallet is dangerous, but
Well, it depends on the substance. Like if the mallet's rubber and pretty soft, not so dense,
right.
makes it a lot less dangerous.
Yeah, that's kind of. I was thinking about the concrete. Maybe it could be a different material.
Okay.
Like I know concrete's like sustainable.
Oh.
I don't know, but
it's, I think just a good
If the
example
weight's an
is our
issue.
design build too. It's just like, think of the design first and worry about safety after.
Okay.
It's like, because if you let safety come in the way, you're going to get so blocked,
Yeah, you'll never get
You're never going to get all your
ideas.
ideas out. So, I mean, you can experiment around with concrete and just be like, if you ever took it to market, be like, okay, realistically, we should probably make this out of something.
Yeah. I'm not even at the.
Right.
I'm gonna take it to market.
well, that's the one thing I'm wondering about is, are you interested in taking it to market?
Well, I mean, just like,
Right.
You're trying to make like a design object, or like, are you? I mean, it doesn't necessarily matter.
One thing I guess I'm still kind of stuck on is the frustrated energies. The solution that you presented us doesn't really answer what you've described. Like they have all this milk and this sugar, which seems like the natural release would be an activity or a toy that would promote activity. Like I think this is a great toy and like promotes, it respects and it promotes imagination and then potential role playing. Like
Right.
it'd be neat to see, if that's really the issue, see a toy that like you can go run around with or
Right. Well,
Without poking out your eye.
to respond to that as well as something from earlier, like this criteria here is not for this toy. It's, this is what I would go to market with right here. These ideas.
Yeah,
I think these are the most marketable things I've got.
totally.
And they're definitely the things that I would spend the more time looking at. So, no, this toy does not satisfy all of this criteria.
Okay.
But, that's what I strive for.
Yeah, it's the brand called Smart Toys that's sold through some higher end kids shops, and all the toys are made out of wood.
Cool.
They have train sets and other kinds of things, kind of standard kids toys, but they have a whole mission statement which is escaping me at the moment, but it's definitely on a more positive than like my nephew plays with a monster truck that pretty much walks and talks and stuff like that. So
Right.
Speaking of which, isn't there a toy store on Williams? The name escapes me.
That's what I'm talking about.
Have you considered going to a toy store, and just seeing what they have?
Yeah, definitely. I went to this one on 23rd in the Northwest. It was fun in there. There were so many kids.
Like I'm thinking, there's so many. Because I think like a ball
Right.
could. It depends on how you use it. It's like a ball can provide hours and hours of fun, and so can a Monopoly board. It depends on what is your ideal outlet for this toy? Is it would you want it to be used outside or in
Right.
a classroom?
Well, it's funny. This started as not a criteria for toys, but as a criteria for play structures, like playgrounds. And then I took a step back from that. And now here.
You scaled it down.
Yeah.
Would you? Why did
So I don't. To answer your question, JJ, I don't know.
Why did you rule out a larger context?
What's that?
Why did you rule out the larger context?
Well, I wanted to make it, and I got pretty far in the conceptualization of a playground, and then I was like, well, I can't make this. So I just left it. I did some Photoshop renderings. Left it at that.
You wanted to make a playground at first?
Kind of.
Why can't you do that?
So this thing is like a couple ton-pound asteroid. I've been working in concrete, so it's made of concrete also.
Okay.
I just like the
So you think
materiality.
it's a quick idea that you don't want to dedicate
Right.
too time to?
Where am I gonna? I gotta figure out how to build this form.
You just roll it
It's gonna
down
be taller
to
than
the
A.
parking.
Would making a scale model be
I made a scale model though.
Oh, okay.
scale model Kickstarter.
There you go.
I could go there.
Or you could do it, yeah.
I've been thinking approaching it as a public art piece.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you're really into the object making, you want to make objects, and these are getting you pumped. Then probably go that direction. But
Half the coolest stuff to climb was stuff you weren't really supposed to look like it was sculptural. I
Right.
pulled
Yeah.
my brother and his son to a park over break, and I guess so much fun climbing on the non-jungle gym components. There was like a sculpture in the middle of the park.
And that's really the basis that I was going off with this other guy. It's no bright red and blue coloring.
Right.
You're not telling this kid, even with these, you're not telling the kid what to do. You're not saying this is what you play on. You're just
I guess you're also not it's a more natural approach, less
That seems to make sense. It's the old stereotypical story of the kid always playing with the box instead of the toy at Christmas or the birthday. And that's because the box now becomes a house or a cave or a ship or.
right.
Yeah, definitely plays into what you got with that. Not telling them what to do.
I guess it's kind of a matter of, I don't know, we kind of took a tangent there on the playground and stuff, so I got stuck on that.
yeah, I got my own personal bias on playgrounds and stuff, and
Right.
yeah, I would be.
It might be a little bit too early to make this kind of commitment, but the whole idea of a practicum is that you do invest a lot of time in planning, and I think a playground, at least a thought out, conceptual, maybe planned out, model. I think all that is with the potentiality of funding or connecting with an organization is a possibility.
Right.
keep on this theme, I don't see why you shouldn't go that direction.
It doesn't even have to be like a whole playground, but that's like a pretty big, you know, how about just one play object, you know?
I think this goes more on like the playground too. Is like you could add value to whatever object you make or playground structure by putting it in a place that would really, like a neighborhood or an area that really needs like something inspirational. Like you can even instill more value into it. Into like there's several urban renewal areas across Portland, and one of them I don't know who within what group within the PNCA organization, but there's a student group that's working with the Lens.
Collaborative design program.
Yeah. And ADX partnered up with them, and
I saw the video last night.
yeah, the Marshall Project, I think, or the tentative working title, but that's an area, that's a neighborhood that's been kind of just depressed, and like the city Lens has been on the urban renewal area list for like 10, 15 years, I think, and it's out. It's out by 205 on Foster. I think. Yeah, that's the kind of the image they're trying to shake, and there's a lot of different projects going on there. But they've got one of those schools, you know, because of the whole new No Child Left Behind. You know, they had to stop using this wonderful school building. Marshall. They're trying to get it all revamped, and like I think something like what you want to instill into a play object or a playground would really work with, you know, putting it into a neighborhood that could use inspiration and like help inspire the kids and creating all sorts of value.
Right. I think that'd be wonderful. If I had the venue for this, for my outdoor playground piece, it's literally just an object. It's an asteroid 5 feet tall, specifically designed for kids to play on.
Yeah. But I think it would work in whether it's an indoor thing, and no matter what the demographic, I think it'll have beneficial results.
I was even thinking of like the sort of guerrilla project, like, you know, if I show up in a good spot and pour 2 tons of concrete, then no one's gonna pay to destroy that. So. Alright.
Do you have any more questions for us?
No, I think I'm all set.
Oh, cool.
I really appreciate you guys giving me input on these things.
So do you feel like you're more inclined towards the object and you think it's manageable, and you have a lot of time, you should go big if you can. Seems like there's like there's a lot of.
I just, I didn't want to tackle that gigantic mold that I would have to make for that.
Well, how about some iterations? Like, is this the idea of doing something big? I mean, maybe like, is that the one thing you only make that ever? You know, maybe you could like figure out other kinds of things. If like if you like the big act.